Hiya, this is part of the introduction to A-level physics session. One of the most common questions I get asked before starting a physics A-level is what do you have to do in terms of the maths? Well, you do need to be able to rearrange an equation competently. There's the rain hammering it down. But you don't need to remember the equations. You get a lovely equations booklet. So let's have a look at this A-level question. A string is plucked and vibrates at a frequency of 440 Hertz. A string is 50 centimetres rather long and has a mass per unit length of 0.002 kilograms per metre. Calculate the tension in the string. Right, okay, so what we need to do is we need to have a look, see what we've been given. We've been given F, we've been given length, and that is 0.50 metres, turn it into metres, and we've been given mass per unit length, which has got the symbol mu, and we need to calculate the tension T. Now what we would do is we'd go to our data booklet and we'd look and see if there's an equation that mentions these things, and there is. Okay, so frequency is equal to 1 over 2L divided by, multiplied by the square root of tension divided by the mass per unit length. So there's no need to remember that equation. At A-level, there's two ways that you could attack this. You could do the rearrangement straight off the bat, or alternatively you can do the substitution method. Both will give you the same answer. So let's do the rearrangement method first. Okay, so we need to make T the subject, so F equals 1 over 2L times by T divided by the mass per unit length within that square root sign. Okay, so let's take this portion of the equation first. 1 equals F times by 2L. Okay, so if I want to move everything to the left apart from the T, this has got to go. So what we end up doing, because this is on the bottom, you need to times the 2L on both sides to remove that. So we end up with 2LF is equal to square root of the tension divided by the mass per unit length. Okay, 1 disappears because it's just a 1 at the end of the day. Right, okay, to get rid of the square root, we square both sides. So I'll put a bracket around that. 2LF squared is equal to T divided by mu. And then what we need to do to finish that off, that's on the bottom, this is on the top. So we multiply both sides by mu. So brackets 2LF squared times by mass per unit length is equal to T. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is taking the original equation and substituting in the values. Now this is the method that I always preferred when I was an A-level student, and to be honest with you, it's still the method that I use now. Right, okay, so the way you do this is you put your values in. So frequency is 440, length is 50 centimetres, so 0.50 metres. We don't know the tension, that's what we're trying to calculate, and our mass per unit length is 0.02. Something that I've missed, it's a good job I've noticed, is that's 2 times 0.50, so it's 2L, and that's a common mistake. Okay, so let's sort this bit out first. 440 is equal to 1 divided by 1, because 2 times 1.5, so 1 divided by 1. Well, that can disappear. 1 divided by 1 is 1. So 440 is equal to the square root of T divided by 0.02. 440 squared is equal to T divided by 0.002. So T must be equal to 440 squared times by 0.002. So T is equal to 387.2 newtons. And you get exactly the same way as you do it that way. So, two different ways of approaching that question. What I would do, I would write down what you've got in your question, look for the right equation, and then substitute. But rearrangement is another way as well. You get a mark in an exam just for doing that. You get a mark in the exam for doing that. Okay, so it's easier to gain a mark by doing the substitution method than by rearrangement. Cheers.